Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Victoria here, and I'd like you to subscribe to this channel to listen to your fashion lecture. Stay tuned. And today we have elements of design. We want to talk about elements of design. What are elements of design? Before we understand this topic, let me talk about let's say a garment. If you are a designer out there or a student and asked to draw um, a garment, or let's say a clothing, you're going to need certain things to draw that clothing, to make that design come out. What are these things? You're going to need something like lines, all right? You're going to need something like circles. You're going to need something like squares. You're going to need dots, depending on the kind of design you're going to draw. And these things are like scattered objects that you need to make up or create your dress. So these are the elements of design. So you need certain things before you can design. All right. So let's move to color. Color is natural. It comes from natural light. Without light, we wouldn't have color. So if you fetch water into a bowl and place a mirror into that water, and the rays of sunshine hits the surface of the mirror, light is reflected onto the water, and that is how we got colors. Okay, that's the origin of color, and you cannot create a design without using color. Let's move to the next thing, which is a line. A line is a mark made by a moving point. Until the point moves, it is not a line, it is rather a dot. Okay, we have different types of line and characteristics of lines, and a lot of people get confused with these ones. So let's go and look at the characteristic of a line. If we say characteristic of a line, we are talking about how the line behaves or how the line is. And the examples here are width. Width talks about the wideness of the line. So a line can be thick, it can be thin, it can taper to an end, like a triangle. It starts from a wider width and then thins to the end. And if we say an even could be some parts being bigger than others, but it's still a continuous line. Then we have length, which is quite easy. We have long lines, short lines, continuous and broken lines. Directional line talks about a line going into a particular direction. So we have horizontal, which is across, vertical, which is straight, diagonal, which is slanted. We have curvy lines, perpendicular, two lines meeting like a T, oblique, parallel, radial, and zigzag. Then we have focus lines, sharp, blurry, fuzzy, choppy. Then feeling, that is sharp, jagged, graceful, and smooth. Please read through my slides and you would understand it's very easy. Then we have types of lines. Okay, we have outlines. Outlines talks about lines that are used to bring out the shape or the silhouette of an object or probably a design. A contour line talks about curves. Anything you see in fashion, contour is talking about the shape, something curvy. So it is used in accentuating curves to bring out the beauty of a curve. Gesture lines are used to on active figures. Okay, they're used on active figures, like if somebody throws his or her hand or shrugs the shoulder, like lifts the shoulder up, you see lines that are being used probably in a drawing to show that this person has raised his or her hand if somebody is making a gesture. Let's move to the next element, which is shape and form. A lot of people get this one confused, so let me make it a bit clearer. Now, if you talk about shape, is created when a line crosses itself or intersects with other lines to enclose a space. If let's say you're drawing a circle and the circle is not enclosed and there's a little bit of space, there's not a shape. So until that shape is closed, then we can call it a shape. Okay, now a shape has two dimensions, which is the width and the length. All right, now what about a form? A form rather has three dimensions: the width, the length, and the depth, unlike the shape. And the form creates a real object. You can touch it, it looks like you can touch it, you can move around it. Now let's look at this circle over here. This same circle has been a 2D, I mean two-dimensional circle has been converted into a three-dimensional form by shading in drawing. Okay, so if you know more about drawing, you know what to use, the techniques to use to get a flat object into a form. Categories of shapes. We want to talk about, we have geometric shapes, which we know: circles, organic shapes, leaves. I really don't want to waste time here because it's easy to understand. So organic is things that can easily get rotten, okay, or natural stuffs. We have positive shapes. In a drawing, the area that contains the main object is the positive shape. The outside, the area that is plain and has no drawing, or the area that is around the main drawing, is the negative shape. We have static shapes, shapes that do not move. If you see, let's say in a drawing, you have a square, which has straight edges, is static. But you can also have a square which looks like which is meandering. It has four sides, all right, but it looks meandering, or it looks like eggs blowing that particular paper. We can say that shape is dynamic, a shape that is moving or in action. Then we have space. Space in a two-dimensional drawing or paint, it refers to the arrangement of objects on a picture plane. Okay, so before an artist draws, the person has space. The space could be on a paper, on a floor, on a wall, or wherever. But in the end, there's going to be arrangement of objects, or probably the design or motif the artist is using. Space, categories of space, it's quite similar to that of a shape. Okay, so we have positive space where we have the actual painting or the actual work. Negative space is where we have the space around the painting itself, where we don't have anything. The picture plane is just the flat surface, the empty space where the artist is yet to draw. And then we have the composition where the artist or the designer arranges the his or her motifs or designs on the picture plane. Then we have a focal point where the viewer looks first. In every drawing, there is a point that attracts everyone or the viewer first. That is the focal point. Let's move to the next element, which is texture. Texture is the surface quality of an object. Okay, how the surface feels. Now we have real texture and implied texture as categories of texture. A real texture is the actual texture of an object. For example, what the viewer sees. If a viewer sees that this object or this surface is smooth, and he or she touches the surface, it's actually smooth, it's not deceiving. But with the implied texture, it means that your eye can see that this particular surface is smooth, but when you touch it, it is rather rough. Yeah, you understand. It's just like you have a wall and it's a painting of a tree on the wall where the artist has brought out all the stems and the cracks on the back of the tree. Okay, like a painting on the wall. Your eye sees rough, but you touch it and it is smooth. We have so many other examples as well. We have scale or size. So you can have a particular, let me say, shape or any design or drawing that has different sizes. This is a very interesting element of design which a lot of people use to create movement, especially in art. And this is where we're going to end for today. The next time we're going to do principles of design like you just saw. And stay tuned, keep subscribing to my channel. I still remain Hono Victoria. Thanks for listening. Bye bye.